When I finished Vinland Saga, I didn't feel hyped. I didn't feel excited either. I felt quiet, like something inside me had been challenged, not entertained. That's when I realized Vinland Saga isn't really an anime about Vikings, war, or revenge. It's an anime about people who don't know what to do with their pain. Most shows teach you how to fight harder. Vinland Saga teaches you why you're fighting in the first place, and why that fight might be pointless. This isn't a story about becoming stronger. It's a story about unlearning everything you thought strength was. In this video, I'm sharing the most important things I personally learned from Vinland Saga, not as lessons being preached, but as realizations that slowly hit while watching it. If you actually listen, there's a lot here you can take into your own life. 1. You have no enemies is not a soft idea. It's a dangerous one.
You don't have enemies.
At first, this line sounds unrealistic, almost naive. Because in real life, people hurt you. They betray you. They disrespect you. So how can you say no one is your enemy? But the more you think about it, the more uncomfortable it becomes. The moment you call someone your enemy, you give them power over you. Your mood changes because of them. Your decisions revolve around them. Your life starts reacting instead of moving forward. Thors understood that true strength isn't about defeating others. It's about refusing to let hatred control you. Anyone can hate. Anyone can hold a grudge. That takes no skill at all. But staying calm when you have every reason to be angry, that takes real strength. Vinland Saga quietly makes this point clear. If someone can control your emotions, they don't need to defeat you. They already own you. 2. Revenge doesn't give your life meaning. It borrows it. Thorfinn spends most of his life chasing revenge. And what makes it scary is that revenge gives him direction. It gives him something to wake up for, something to live for. Without it, he doesn't know who he is. That's uncomfortable because a lot of people do the same thing in real life. They turn their pain into identity. They let anger define them. And for a while it works. It gives energy. It gives focus. It gives purpose. But Vinland Saga exposes the truth. Revenge doesn't heal pain. It only distracts you from it. When Askeladd dies, Thorfinn doesn't feel relief. He doesn't feel victory. He feels empty. Because once the revenge is gone, the pain he avoided comes back, stronger. The anime makes something clear that most stories avoid saying out loud. Pain without purpose doesn't make you deep. It just makes you stuck. 3. Violence is easy. Self-control is hard. Violence looks powerful because it gives instant results. You hit back, you dominate, you feel in control. That's why so many stories glorify it. Vinland Saga doesn't. It strips violence down to what it really is. The easiest option. Anyone can lash out. Anyone can destroy. It doesn't take discipline to lose control. It takes discipline to restrain yourself when you know you're capable of causing damage. Thors wasn't weak because he refused to fight. He was strong because he didn't need to prove anything. He had power and chose not to use it for ego or pride. Vinland Saga flips the usual idea of strength. If your strength disappears the moment your emotions take over, then it was never strength to begin with. 4. Slavery. In Vinland Saga is mostly mental. Season 2 makes one thing painfully clear. Chains don't have to be made of iron. You can be free physically and still be trapped mentally. Thorfinn realizes that he wasn't enslaved by people. He was enslaved by his past, by his guilt, by his inability to let go of who he used to be. That's something a lot of people can relate to, even if they don't want to admit it. You're not free just because no one controls your body. you're free when your past stops controlling your present, when your anger stops deciding your actions, when your ego stops forcing you to stay the same. Vinland Saga delivers a hard truth. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Freedom is not being ruled by your impulses. 5. Real growth feels like losing your identity. One of the most uncomfortable lessons in Vinland Saga is that growth doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel inspiring. It feels like losing yourself. Thorfinn doesn't become cooler or more confident, he becomes quieter. He questions everything, he breaks down, he changes so much that the person he used to be almost disappears. And that's the point. Most people don't fear change, they fear becoming someone their old self wouldn't recognize. But Vinland Saga makes something clear. If you're not willing to abandon your old identity, you'll stay trapped in it forever. Growth isn't loud, it's lonely. And most of the time, it looks like failure before it looks like progress. 6. A real warrior protects life. He doesn't take it. At its core, Vinland Saga is redefining what it means to be a warrior, not someone who wins fights, but someone who takes responsibility. A real warrior doesn't fight for pride. He doesn't kill to prove strength. He understands the cost of violence and refuses to create more suffering than already exists. That idea isn't flashy, it isn't exciting, and that's why it's powerful. Anyone can be dangerous. Very few people are strong enough to choose peace when violence would be easier. Vinland Saga leaves us with this final truth. The strongest person in the room is often the one who refuses to make another victim. 7. Vinland Saga teaches you that kindness is not weakness. Kindness in Vinland Saga isn't about being nice or polite. It's about choosing not to pass your pain onto someone else. That's a big difference. Most people are cruel not because they enjoy it, but because they're hurt. They've suffered. And instead of dealing with that pain, they spread it. Vinland Saga breaks that cycle. It shows that kindness is a conscious decision, one that often goes against your emotions. Thorfinn doesn't become kind because life gets easier. He becomes kind after life completely breaks him. After he understands how much damage hatred causes, not just to others, but to himself. The anime makes this painfully clear. Kindness requires more strength than violence. Violence is reactive. Kindness is intentional. It means you understand your pain and still choose not to create more of it. In a world where everyone is trying to look tough, Vinland Saga teaches a rare lesson. The strongest people are often the gentlest, because they know exactly what they're capable of and choose not to use it. 8. Vinland Saga teaches you that forgiveness is for you, not them. Forgiveness in Vinland Saga isn't portrayed as something noble or heroic. It's shown as something necessary. Not forgiving doesn't punish the person who hurt you. It keeps you trapped with them long after they're gone. Thorfinn carries the weight of his past everywhere he goes, not just the people he lost, but the people he killed. The hatred doesn't disappear when the enemy dies, it stays, rotting inside him. That's when he understands the truth. Holding on to anger doesn't preserve justice, it preserves suffering. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay, it doesn't erase consequences. It simply means you refuse to let that moment define the rest of your life. Vinland Saga makes it clear that forgiving someone is often the final step to forgiving yourself. This lesson is uncomfortable because anger feels justified. Letting it go feels like losing. But the anime flips that belief. The real loss is staying chained to something that already happened. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's survival. Vinland Saga doesn't tell you how to become successful. It doesn't teach you how to win or dominate. Instead, it asks harder questions. Why are you angry? Who taught you to hate? And what would your life look like if you stopped fighting battles that don't matter? If this video made you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. It means you're actually thinking. And if you took even one idea from this, then the anime and this video did its job. If you want more content like this, anime breakdowns that actually mean something, philosophy without fake motivation, and lessons that apply to real life, then subscribe to the channel. Not because you're told to, but because you don't want surface level content anymore. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.